What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning John Fury, Rob McCracken, and Anthony Joshua. Get this. Anthony Joshua told Rob McCracken saved his life in the Alexander Usyk loss. Stay with me. McCracken and other members of Joshua's corner came under fire for their guidance in Joshua's loss to Usyk. But John Fury has praised McCracken for not letting AJ get stopped. Tyson Fury's father praised Anthony Joshua's coach for saving his life during the Brits' loss to Alexander Usyk. Joshua lost his heavyweight titles when he was outpointed by Usyk in September. Fans and pundits slammed Joshua's corner team for the advice in the fight. With that, AJ has no game plan to fall back on after being outboxed by Usyk in the later rounds. It marked the second loss in Joshua's last 4 fights, and he must now launch a revenge mission ahead of his rematch with Usyk next spring. And John Fury thinks that Joshua's longtime trainer Rob McCracken deserves praise for his coaching skills despite the criticism that he received. And this is what he said. Quote, he said, "I think if AJ would have fought any other way, he would have got stopped. Usyk would have had knocked him out. It was like a caution sort of thing. Happy comes second best. What can you do if your man is in the state of mind? It's your job as a trainer to keep him on his feet." Amid calls to sack his corner team, Joshua traveled to the U.S., of course, to visit trainers like Reynoso and Hunter. Okay, but the Brits insist that he will still work with McCracken unless his coach refuses to work alongside another trainer. Okay, so we cleared that way. Of course, Freddie Roach and former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson has also offered to help him. And also Sugar Hill, I have another video coming about Sugar Hill and Tyson, by the way. And Fury's father has encouraged Joshua to take up his son's offer and think coaches in the U.S. are little use for the Brit. Those are the words of John Fury. Let me counterpunch. It's not your job to keep your fighter on your feet as a trainer. It's your job to win. Okay, and if your fighter's taking too much punishment, then it's time to save your fighter. Okay, that's one of the responsibilities. And it's based off of the instruction that he gave Anthony Joshua. He told Anthony Joshua to be light on your feet. He told him to move his head, which he didn't do a lot of times. And each time when Joshua stayed still, bop, he would get reminded that his head movement wasn't on point. You got to be a swivel in there, especially with Usyk. That's why Usyk's a swivel. Usyk will go right to left to right to left to right. You know, he does that, okay, because he wants to show you that he's mobile and he wants to stay off the center line, okay? So Joshua giving the instruction, brilliant and things like that. And here's the thing. I think it's more, you should put more emphasis on his team, not just Rob McCracken. I know he's the head trainer, but understand, like, when you hear guys saying like, oh, brilliant, brilliant, that's not brilliant. It wasn't brilliant. He was getting outpointed and they didn't even tell the fighter the truth. The truth is, Anthony Joshua, like he said in the IFL interview with Kugan Cassie, a shout out to him. That's almost at 1 million views, by the way, so check it out if you hadn't. But in that interview, it was a long interview, 1 hour and 7 minutes. He said that it's different when you're in there. It's up to your corner to tell you where you're at, what's really going on, because you're in battle. Like he used to say at my old job, battle with Pascal. He used to say battle. So he's in the battle, okay? And it's up to your team to be frank with you. I know it's the heat of the moment, but they are responsible to tell you what's what, okay? What's going on, what's the stats, what you need to do. Stop doing these things. Start doing more of this. You know what I mean? And you could see in times where someone's saying body, and then Joshua went to the body and scored. Okay? I think that was like the 7th round or whatever. So I think he needs to do a lot more of that. He needs to hang around Canelo a little bit. Start cracking that body down. Okay? You put interest in the bank when you do that to a boxer. You know, ask Caleb Plant, right? He took a lot of interest deductions, right? And I think that they didn't tell him the truth. I think that was one of the main reasons, you know, on top of giving, you know, piss poor advice. But according to John Fury, John Fury says that if he would have fought any old way, he would have been knocked out. Well, I don't think so. You know, however, except for the 12th round. Okay, so because that's when Usyk really started to unload. Usyk really wasn't fighting like that, but Joshua was boxing him. So he was trying to stay defensive, but he was unsuccessful at staying defensive. Okay, so even though he was kind of trying to be cutesy in there and trying to pull and mirror what Alexander Usyk was saying, but he was getting wrong instruction anyway, so it really didn't matter. And then you remember Joshua's face when they called the new, you know, and Joshua, you know what I mean? Like the most surprising look. And he did that for like a second or two, you know, and then he's just like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, dude, we saw you do that. You were surprised. The expressions and the tone does not lie. He was surprised that he lost that fight because he believed in a team that didn't tell him what they're supposed to tell him. That's why he's coming over here across the seas to get with somebody that's going to help him, but don't enable him. And that's all they did. Now, did Rob McCracken give him the instructions so he wouldn't get knocked out? I don't think so. I think they gave him bad instruction and they deceived him badly. That's why he was so, right? So, but I think this is what I will say. If Joshua fought any other way, let's say the way he fought Andy Ruiz and he did get knocked out, that would be more reverence. You know, I mean, of course, the narrative would be he doesn't have a chin because he got knocked out by a cruiserweight, but still, I think that would have been better than what we saw. You know what I mean? Outboxed for 12 rounds like that and then just got conquered in the 12th, you know, and that was the time for him to really gear it up because Alexander Usyk was throwing punches. You know, all the moving and the bobbing and weaving, that's only good if you can counter off the bob, off the weave. And he did nothing. You know, he kind of jabbed to the body to show like, I'm still here. See? But dude, the dude hits you with like 5 unanswered punches. You're not going to win that round with that. So it's interesting to say that John Fury's praising Rob McCracken, but also understand this. John Fury, you can already tell he's biased. He's biased towards British trainers and British people in general. Think about it. I don't think they'll do him any good. Well, why? You know, I think he wants Rob McCracken praised because I think he doesn't want Anthony Joshua to improve because he wants Tyson Fury to go on in there and get that fat check for fighting him and whooping him and let them say that Joshua's doing well and he's really not doing well if he's not doing well. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of John Fury praising Rob McCracken for his work in the corner of Joshua. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.